Australia is the most mysterious country in the world. The number of secrets it holds is beyond count now. Almost never heard of it, in use as if it doesn't even exist. In the local jungles of the continent, you can find incredible animals that have no counterparts in our world. The fan that dives the continent in half is still guarded by the military. But for what purpose? Maybe there is another land hiding behind the tall fence. So what can be there? Let's find out. Hello, this is the Hiddentruth channel and I am Emma. I'm working hard for you, so subscribe, like, and let's get started. It is extraordinary country and many facts fundamentally distinguish it from all the others in the world. The unique natural world of Australia is rich in secrets that are still unsolved. It is known from school textbooks that Australia was discovered in the 18th century by English navigator James Cook. But the fact is that for centuries before that, Dutch navigators has already settled on the coast. Only this isn't talked about so widely, and the name Australia itself wasn't acquired so long ago. Previously it was called Terra Australis Incognita. Today I want to tell you about the most mysterious continent in the world, Australia. Huge territory with unknown content. We will consider both unique species on this territory and try to understand what the local aborigines say about their history of their land. At the end of the video, we will discuss the most interesting facts that simply don't fit into our history view. And yet someone was able to make an expedition to Australia right to Antarctica. One of the main mysteries of Australia remains in its flora and fauna. There are many new species of amazing animals that are still being found. Today, Australia has more than 200,000 species of exotic creatures. But the most mysterious animal found only on this continent is the marsupial, the kangaroo, the marsupial mole, and until recently, the marsupial wolf are all well known, the population of which hasn't disappeared completely. It's literally unbelievable animal that lived with us recently. Sometimes it seems that all these animals are artificially bred, simply as a mixture of two specimens, the result of which we can see. And insects in Australia, this is just a separate species. Have you ever seen such huge stick insects? And how do you like this locust? It looks more like a genetic mutation than a regular insect. Australia is full of dangerous and poisonous animals. On the coast, there is a huge variety of poisonous creatures, and they are encountered at every step of the coast. In short, Australia's whole life is just on the coast. All homes, cities and centers are located strictly behind a center line. It's interesting that this line was drawn and, most importantly, that border was determinate. For a tourist, Australia may seem like a very green continent, but in reality it has completely desert origin, endless flat deserts and mountainous reliefs. Do you like these amazing mountains? They are also only found in Australia. For a tourist, this is just a different world, but for locals it's just quite an ordinary phenomenon. How could such mountains form in a flat place? Did nature try so hard, or is it all just the hand of a man who hasn't yet reached the prehistorical forests of enormous trees, mostly made of eucalyptus, which reach a height of more than 60 meters? Studying the topic, I learned that in Australia there is sometimes a very rare meteorological phenomenon that locals call the morning glory. It's a long wave of clouds that can reach 1,000 kilometers in length. And the locals say the nature of this unique phenomenon hasn't been fully studied, but what we can say that we can observe something similar without even living in Australia. In other countries, it's not considered as a rare phenomenon. The only thing that worries is that in Australia, Rare species of animals are becoming ill, populations are decreasing, and rabbits, which vary in huge numbers, are the main problem in Australia. On the contrary, all are breeding and breeding. The whole continent of Australia is divided by a fence. In official history, this wall was begun to build in the 19th century. This wall hasn't analogues, even in the comparison with the all well-known Chinese wall. In addition, it's patrolled by armed soldiers. This fence, more than 2 meters high, will not be able under tension. There is a solar battery that allows the fence to operate around the clock. In Australia, it's forbidden to freely travel and move around behind the huge number of barbed wire fences. Due to restrictions, even airplanes fly over Australia only on certain roads. But if someone still dares to go behind the fence, knowing the danger of these rabbits, if the person voluntarily agreed to this risk, then a prize in terms still awaits. It turns out that there is something terrifying to see in the animals, or perhaps people are deliberately not led behind the wall. Furthermore, it's forbidden to move behind the wall, even for the indigenous inhabitants of Bushmen. The news from Australia is quite rare. They try not to advertise it often. Have you heard the latest news from Australia? For some reason, they suddenly decided to build a black box on Earth in case of human extinction. The task of the black box will be to preserve life in case of any catastrophe, and the size of such a box will be comparable to the size of a bus. Imagine it will be on a solar batteries. But for what? Is something waiting for us in the near future? Why build a black box for the apocalypse? Where and why they choose Australia? Specifically, what do you think? Well, at the end of the video, I would like to show you one incredible miracle of nature located right almost in the center of the Australia continent. See for yourself, the red mountain Uluru, or rather, it's a stone. One huge stone, more than 3 kilometers long. And yet, how much we still don't know about our history. So let's meet the down together and remember, down beyond the mountains of all blessings. If you like the video about Australia, I suggest exploring the Sahara Desert. I made a very interesting video about the Sahara. The link is in description. Thank you very much. Love you!